Thank you for joining us.
Namaste. So today we're going to do a class where we're going to add in some free weights, and it'll mostly be free weights for the upper body, but you really need to engage the center of your body. So we'll explore that a little bit first. And then also, as we go through this class, I will mention words like stability, like really stabilizing your body when you do these free weights, because it's never about just one body part. The body is totally connected, and yoga is very much an all over body experience. So today we're just going to improvise with how you could add free weights to your practice if that is something of your interest. So let's begin. Well, these are my two weights, my little tin cans. You might have the little ones that are soft to hold into your hand. But I want you to really connect to the core to start with. So come out a little bit in an X position and then bring your knees and elbows towards each other, and can you really feel the core of your body? You can also hold your head if you have any neck issues. But as we go through this, I want you to really be aware of how the core is what helps you stabilize some of these positions. So the first thing we'll do is just lie with the knees bent, and we'll just bring the arms up and then bring them overhead and then bring them back up in front of you. So just notice how this movement works for you, how you're stabilizing the lower body as you do this. You're just extending them overhead. And you just go as far as you can. Like you can go this far. Come back up. And I happen to be working at a facility in Massachusetts decades ago where they were actually doing the physiotherapist or the physical therapist were doing some research with weights with very elderly people, like in their 80s and 90s, and found that they could gain benefits at that age. So that was a pretty phenomenal study. So now we're going to try to add the legs here. So see if you can extend the legs up as you bring the arms overhead, and then as you bring the arms up, bring the legs down. So this requires and also coordination, because we're going to do it the opposite direction too. So bring the arms overhead, and now bring them together. So you might feel something quite different in that. Now on the next one, you're going to bring the legs up and just bend at the elbows and come up. So you bring the legs up, bend at the elbows, and come up. Now, those of you who know more about weight work know that you can do little pulses too if that's something in your practice. I'm just going to give you some basic moves today that you can expand on in your own practice. Now another move, or we could do it with the legs. So opposite arm, same leg, bringing the legs up, opposite arm down, leg up, bring them both up. So I guess I should reverse this now. Let's see if I can even coordinate that. So what was it? A leg down. Yeah, so it's like the same leg down and the same leg up. And then bend the knees. And you can do a little bit of windshield wiper with the legs. You can actually just bring the hands around and kind of windshield wiper with the arms as well. And then come over to hands and knees. And you can have your weights down next to you. So this time you're going to stabilize here in the core, and we're going to lift the opposite leg and the opposite arm with the weight. So you're going to first just extend forward with that leg, and then you can do a little bit of pulsation lifts. You have to really stabilize through the core here, and the opposite hand and leg. And if you really want to go a little further, you can bend in, so knee towards the head, bringing the arm in and extend forward. So bending in. And again, you could pulse if you want with the weight, and then extend long, bend in, extend long. And then place that one down, place the hands down. And if you ever need a little bit of a shake out, you can always do a little circle with the pelvis in between. And then we'll go to the other side. So first we'll just extend long and pulse a little bit. And then if you up to flexing in, the knee to the head, bringing the arm out, in, out, in, out, and bring that down. And then we'll just have a little stretch, bringing the elbows together, keep the hips up, and place the head down, and a little bit of a shoulder stretch here. And then bring the hands up and swing one leg between. And again, this is going into a lunge, and so this is where you're stabilizing your lower body here. So you need to really press the front foot and press the top of the back foot and the knee in. And then again, we can go through the lifting the arms up, lifting down. Now you can modify this. You can have less range of motion if that's what you need. You can slow it down, or if you're really into pacing, bringing the pace up, you can always, go more quickly. But just make sure that you're really stabilized through the core of your body. Now when you come up to the top again, you can then bend the arms out, lift them up, then widen the elbows out, lift them up. And again, this can be like in this kind of range if you need to have it more forward than up. And then if you really want some bicep work, you can do it this way. And then if you want some tricep work, you do it that way. Now, you might be really feeling it now here in that thigh. I am. So let's take a break from there and then bring the hands down and bring that knee down. And just have a little cat and dog tilt to release the spine before we do the other side. And then swing the opposite leg between your hands. And again, I mean, you could bring the weights and just put them on the front thigh to start with and lunge forward. I used to have these ankle weights, and I kind of wish I'd kept those because they would work. Like I have yoga weights, you know, sandbags, but the ankle weights probably would have been useful as another sandbag for yoga practice. So, and my teacher used to have the big weights. I mean, she'd mostly use them to put on certain parts of the body and not so much to lift with, but she would use them. So now let's go through that sequence on the other side. So we can lift the arms up and lift them down. Now again, of course, I didn't do this on the other side so much, but you can play with how your wrists are too. So I just turn my wrists coming up, but otherwise you can keep the arms straight in front of you. So it's always a good idea to practice for yourself to see what works for you best and listening to your body. But anyway, again, I'm stabilized through the core here as I do this. And then you can lift them up and bend the elbows wide. And if you need to lower them, it can be done this way. So whatever works for your body. And then we can do the bicep curl. And then we can also do the tricep fit. And then bring the weights down, place the hands down, bring that leg back, and just do a couple of more. Rounding spine. Into cat and dog tilt. And then tuck the toes under and come into a downward dog. And go ahead and walk through the legs because we've been holding them a bit steady. So maybe you want to get more circulation in the legs right now. And then bend the knees, bringing the armpits towards the floor, and then see if you can straighten the legs. And then walk the hands towards the feet. You can have bend in the knees. You can do a little bit of shaking out with the upper body. You can slowly roll up through the spine. And that wasn't that slow, but it was something. And then come into standing in the middle of your mat. We'll add some weight work to some Utkatasana. And of course, if it's easier for you, you can just stabilize yourself in Utkatasana, or you can do some more movement with me as we go along. So I'm totally improvising this, so we'll see how we go. So we can go into Utkatasana and bring the arms out shoulder height. And then we can either just stabilize here, or you can do a few more raising and lowering the arms. So it depends on what is happening for your body and what works best. And then you can slowly straighten the legs. And this time we'll bring the arms out in front, going into Utkatasana. Again, you can stay there, or you can do a few reps. And again, you always know you can change the range of motion. And then come to standing. So we're not only getting an arm workout here, we're also getting workout through the legs. So we'll do another one of these. This time we'll raise the arms overhead. Now this is going to be more work, of course. And we'll just bend the elbows wide and straight. And again, you can have it more forward. This works better for you. Or you can have them up. And then inhale, coming up. And release the arms there. And just because we're standing here, go ahead and bring one arm over, just stretching out the front. Bring the elbow up, holding on to the elbow. Just for a little halftime break. Cross the other shoulder over, stretching out this part of the arm, the outer arm. And then lift that elbow up, pressing at the elbow. And this is where you can really try to find your palm between your shoulder blades to help with doing cow face pose, Gomukhasana. And then release the arms. And we're going to turn, and you can have your weights next to you, or you just hold them on to here. We're going to go into a lunge warrior or warrior one. So I'm bringing the right foot forward and extending to the back foot. Now we can start this by just holding the weights and then bending the back knee, straightening through the back knee. Bending the back knee, straightening through the back leg, bending the back knee, and straightening through the back leg. Now you can add some arms. Again, you can keep the legs straight and add some arms like we've done before. Bringing the elbows out. Bicep curls. And tricep curls. Now, if you wanted to make this more challenging, you could add bending of the back leg into this. And this is common workout people do at gyms. So you can add the arm work, whichever one you're doing, by that bend. So do as much as feels right for you, or keep the legs straight. And then release the legs, coming back into standing. If you need to put your weights down, you can. And I would just bend the knees, do a little bit of circling with the hips, because I can feel how this is really working into my glutes as well. So anytime we stop and stabilize the lower body, we're actually isometric. Yeah, I'm going to forget the language, but we're actually working that part of the body as well. So whatever you've done to shake it out, then bring the other leg back. So I have the left leg forward, the right leg back. I'm going to just start with bending the back knee down and holding my hands next to me. You're trying to keep the hips as forward as you can. Now you can start to add the arms. Keep the legs straight. And bend them up. Add the bicep. You can add the triceps. And you can add the bend in the back leg if that feels good. And I thought about another thing too, is you can bring the elbows in and wide. And then you can bring both legs back together and have a little shakeout. So I'm not very even here in terms of counting. So I'll try to do a little bit of that for you as well. So apologies for my counting. So come back into Tadasana. You can hold the weights or you can let them go at any time. Bring the legs out wide and I'll be mirror image. So I'm going to take the left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe. And I'm just going to come into triangle. So really stabilizing lower body. And you can bring the weights into the arms and just be here and hold it here. Or you could bring the weights in, bending at the elbows, extending out. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring the feet parallel. And then we'll go to the other side. So we've got the right foot toe to heel, left foot heel to toe. And then however works for you to go into it, you can either bring the arms up or you can just go to your side and then bring the arms into it. And again, if you want more, you can bring them in, extend them out. Just be aware that you have to really be stable in that core of your body. You really have to connect deeply into that core. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring the feet parallel. Just stand here for a few breaths with the feet parallel. Because I can certainly feel my heart rate rising, and you may feel it as well. So we're going to go into Pajbakonasana. So take the left foot heel to toe, right foot heel to toe. The left foot toe to heel, right foot heel to toe. And then as you bend and put the arm here, you can hold your weight. And again, you can either lift the arm up or lift it up and over. And maybe there's something using the weights that creates a little bit more extension for you. I don't know. But you can also, again, play with, doing the bicep if you want. Tricep, sorry. or the bicep curls on this side. So I'm just showing you what some of the possibilities are of how you could use free weights, especially small weights. And then coming up again, bring your feet into parallel, a couple of breaths here. And then softening at the knees, right foot toe to heel, left foot heel to toe. Bring the forearm on the thigh, and either the arm straight up or up and over, or again, tricep curls, bicep curls, or just, coming across the chest and lifting up. So by holding it out here, you might actually get more stretch through the side of your body. Or that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm really liking this extension that I feel. I feel more extension here, more length. And then inhale, slowly come up, bring the feet parallel, and a couple of breaths there. Bringing them back into Tadasana, weights down. We will do Gomukhasana to sort of finish off with a really good stretch for both the hips and the arms. You may need a block to sit on, and again, I can show you with my legs behind you where I'm going to lift the right leg up. And then I like sitting on the foot because I can, but you can sit on a cushion, a bolster, a block, whatever works for you. So if I sit on my foot, I really have to find that balance. Now, I'm taking my left hand, and you can guide your hand between the shoulder blades. You can also take the opposite hand and really press through that collarbone out to the shoulder so that the front of the shoulder is opening. And you can hold that for a few breaths. And then inhale, the opposite arm up. And you may not get your fingers. You may just find that you place the hand between the shoulder blades or on the neck. But don't distort the neck here. Keep that length in the neck and really point that shoulder up to the ceiling. And then release it, and you're going to hold your hands behind you, and you can lift the arms up behind you and just start to roll through the shoulders to get more stretch through the arms. And then release that side. And then you can come forward on hands and knees to lift that back leg up, coming into all fours. Lift the opposite leg up. Come back to sitting. Again, if you need to be sitting on something, if you don't want to do the hip part, you can sit quite high actually across the leg over. And then we'll take the right hand or the opposite hand behind, or the same leg that's crossed on top is behind. And again, the opposite hand can really smooth through the front of the collarbone out into the shoulder. And you just apply the pressure that works for you. I can feel a little bit of stretch through my neck too, which is nice. And then inhale that arm up. Bend at the elbow. If you can find your fingers, great. If not, just keep the hands on your back. Couple of breaths here. then release the arms, and then interlock the fingers behind you. If you can remember which one you did last time, do the opposite. You can stretch and lift the arms up behind you, and then a little bit of shoulder rolling. And then release the arms. Come onto all fours, and then go into Shavasana. And if you want to put your feet on your chair, you can. You can do feet up the wall. But if you go into a position like this, see if you can just cross your arms and let them hang here for a while. And then if it becomes uncomfortable, you can switch sides for a little while. And then if it feels too much, then you can bring them down to your side. But just see if you can hang out here and just let everything soften that way. And we'll go into Shavasana. So start by just noticing what's happening in your body. What are the sensations in your core or your lower body or your arms and shoulders? And then see if you can imagine your hands, wrists, forearms, inner elbows, upper arms, softening back into the shoulder girdle, into your armpits. And then see if you can imagine from your toes through your feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, upper thighs, softening into the thigh socket, into your pelvic girdle. So the legs are softening. And the collarbone notches soften. Your throat softens. Back of your neck softens and lengthens. Base of your head is softening. Your scalp softens.
Thank you for watching
Your
and joining
forehead
us.
widens and
And
softens.
namaste.
Your temples are softening. Space between the eyebrows widens and softens. Your eyeballs rest into the eyes socket. Your cheeks are softening. Your jaw softens. Your lips, teeth, and tongue are all soft. And your chin is soft. And then slowly begin to reawaken your body, bringing a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes, stretching through your arms and legs. And then you can roll to your right side and come up to sitting. So I hope today's class gave you a little bit of inspiration of how you might incorporate some free weights into your yoga practice. Namaste, and have a beautiful day or night.
Thank you for watching and joining us.